Good morning. Good morning. Happy to have everyone on, man. We've got the winners here. We've got the winners watching. And for those of you who aren't able to make it live, I'm going to tell you this is going to be one of the top trainings of the year. So please make sure that you are sitting down, you're taking notes, and taking it all in here for the next hour or so. So today I want to talk about something that I think is a make or break in the business. Okay, so what is, when you're meeting with people, what would you guys say is I don't know, I suppose it's first impressions, right? When we're sitting down with somebody and we're across the kitchen table, and if you had ever sat down with somebody in sales, any type of sales, not Primerica, and they immediately start talking, Denise, and they talk and they're giving you a spiel and they're going through all the things, and you are in no way resonating with them, how long does it take before you sit physically present, but you're shut off to the information? 4 minutes, 4 seconds. How about anybody else? Like, you're sitting down with somebody. Less than a minute.
It's about a minute, yeah.
And what's going to have to happen, or what will have to change to get you re-engaged? Is it going to just be them continuing to talk and give their spiel? What will change to get you re-engaged?
For me, it would be whatever they're selling, if the numbers just sound great.
Okay.
Amazing. They would have to be superb, okay? They'd have to be spectacular, right? I think for me to get back engaged, they would have to start building rapport with me and doing some fact finding, because in most cases, if there's salespeople everywhere, if I don't like them, I can go to somebody else who's selling the same thing.
Absolutely. And I feel the same way too. So I have that relationship type, right? We know that's important to me. Anybody who's got that R, either in the first or second part of their personality, what they want to know is, again, don't tell me what you know, tell me how much you care. So ask me a question about me, right? So when we are across the kitchen table from people, I can tell you the thing that I learned quickly early on in this business is, very quickly, because I wasn't good at the presentation. I practiced, I drilled, I rehearsed, I did all the things, but I wasn't naturally good at the presentation. It took too long. It was too run on, right? But what I was good at is creating a commonality. That is the one thing in the business probably ever that I've been very good at from the beginning, is creating a commonality. And so what I want to go through today, before Joe talks about what he's doing for his 90-day success, 90-day cycle here, which I am super excited for, and I'm going to be taking notes. But what I want to talk about is how we start off a presentation, whether it is an interview, whether it's a full KT presentation, whether you have a referral that you're sitting down with, and honestly, whether you're even calling on a referral. Denise, if we have a goal, right? Oftentimes we go in and we just like go for the goal. And we forget that initial warming people up to get them to like us and trust us and want to work with us, because we're ready to get after it, right? So what I want to do is make sure that as we are introducing ourselves, because they're going to make a decision usually within the first 3 minutes. You guys, within the first 3 minutes, they are going to make a decision as to whether or not they like us, they trust us, and they want to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you screw that up in the first 3 minutes, it's a lot more additional work to get it back. You got to work way harder to get it back, right? So we don't want to say anything stupid, which something stupid to one person could be what sells another person. You guys understand that?
Right.
We could do 6 presentations and you might not ever ask an initial question, Joe, to somebody, but give your personal story to 6 or 10 different people without asking questions. If all you did is you gave your personal story, you talked a little bit about who you are, what you do, what led you to this business, what you're excited about, you may talk to 10 people and probably right off the bat, 3 or 4 of them, they're going to like you because there's something in alignment that they have with you. You might talk about sports. They might like that. You might talk about, what you do for work, and they might think, oh, I can get that. But there's going to be the other 60% of people that are like, I don't know what kind of language this dude's talking. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in his story. So the key, you guys, is we don't tell our stories ever, our intro, until we connect with the client or prospect first.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So oftentimes we sit down, we have an agenda, we have an itinerary. Here's what our goal is. And so then we meet the person, or even if it's a training appointment, right? For you guys that are on today, you might be doing training appointments. And so we might start the training appointment with, hey, I'm so excited that, that you're here willing to help Chris out today. Thank you so much. Chris, go ahead and give me a great introduction. And then Chris is going to do the introduction. He's going to tell what he's excited about. And then he'll pass it over to you, Taylor, right? And then you are going to talk about what's your story. Well, if we do that prior to finding out the details about that person, and Chris's perspective of the person is going to give you a little bit of insight. But maybe his perspective isn't 100% accurate. Right? As you're doing training appointments with Chris, maybe he's saying, hey, here's my aunt and uncle, and he sees the aunt and uncle in a certain way, but he doesn't know really what their goals are, what their triggers are, what it is that they've actually done in the past and what's going on. He's seeing it from a different perspective. So it's super important that you have the opportunity as the field trainer or as the person helping the client to ask the proper questions so you know how to present your story. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, so I'm going to share in a few minutes just my PDF doc on our stories. And honestly, we are going to do a little bit of sharing today about them because we've got enough people on that we can make sure that we can address that. So the first thing that we know that when we are asking people, we want to know, tell me a little bit about yourself, right? And a lot of people are like, it's like an interview. I don't know, what are you supposed to say? And so then we're going to guide them, right? We're going to guide them. I love this. So building rapport, right? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? How long have you been doing that? Is your family in the area? You guys, what do you do for fun? But we want to keep that short. Some people, you might get a blue type person. They're going to talk for 35 minutes and we haven't even started the presentation yet. We don't want to do that either. We want to keep it short and directed, but we want to be directed to the information that we are going to share as well. If I'm talking to Taylor, I am knowing, right, that Taylor does not have children and maybe doesn't have an interest. I'm not going to talk all about the fact that I wanted to stay home with my kids. maybe when I meet with Taylor, part of my story is going to be, I didn't want a boss. I was a bad employee. I didn't want somebody to tell me when and where and how I had to be there and when I could take a potty break. Right? When I was a kid, right, I remember dreaming of someday growing up to be a rock star. I just wasn't good at anything. This gives me the opportunity to be that, because I might see Taylor's A-type excitement, and so that's a part of my story that I can say to Taylor. If I'm meeting with Demoral and Erica, I'm selling all over about the fact that I just didn't want somebody to tell me, right, when I couldn't volunteer at my kid's school event, and that I could have freedom and I could work my business around my family and around my personal goals. So it's important to make sure that as we're giving our introduction, Joe, we are giving our introduction in a way that there's some form of alignment or commonality with the person that we're meeting with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean that your introduction is going to change massively. We're just going to highlight different parts of it, okay? So this is fairly short and sweet, but if you guys are taking notes, this is a great thing to take notes on, and I can also post this. So developing your personal story, right?
Can you zoom in, please?
Yeah, maybe.
On the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh, can you guys see it right now? Did it zoom in?
You could keep going. A little bit more.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so when you're sitting down with somebody, Denise, it's important that we tell them, the first thing I tell them is how I first found Primerica, what initially attracted me to the company, okay? And the reason I do this is because it's going to be applicable to most people, right? Now, we want to do it in a way that makes us not look I mean, it doesn't matter what you're looking for, right? But we don't want to be like, well, I was fired from here and Primerica fell into my lap, right? We've got to be careful about that.
Okay.
But so what I would say, especially you guys, if I was on a training appointment, if I was doing a training appointment, for sure, I'm always saying that. A girlfriend of mine was training with Primerica and asked me if I would be a training appointment. And when I asked her what it was that she wanted to come talk about, she said financial services, and I laughed and said, good luck, I'm broke, we're not buying anything. That is that's how I introduced, right? And because most people, would you agree most people could relate to that?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. And so that is step one. Now it depends on if I'm meeting with somebody that wouldn't maybe apply to, maybe I wouldn't say it, but for the most part I usually say that. And then I will tell them, again, based on what they did, they might have went to college for something and they're doing something else, whatever it is. But for me, I'm going to tell them, prior to Primerica, I was working in marketing and sales. And honestly, I really enjoyed what I did. They were paying me a salary. I was 23 years old. I was excited about that. But to be honest, I was only taking home $1,500 a month. And we had 2 little kids. We had just bought a house. And we were definitely paycheck to credit card to paycheck. Okay, that was our life. And so, but I liked what I did. They had me traveling. It was fun. I enjoyed the industry. But let me tell you what happened. I remember there was a situation where I wanted to volunteer at my son's school. And I was told that I couldn't because I didn't have PTO. I couldn't leave a couple hours early. And that for me was a passion. Like, I wanted to be involved with the kids. And so I started to feel like, I was working 9 to 5. I was having to leave at 7:30 in the morning to get the kids to daycare. Some days I didn't get home till 6 o'clock at night. It kind of felt like that hamster on a wheel. Like it felt like every day was the same. Every day was the same. I'd come home, I'd put the, make dinner, do some extracurricular with the kids, put the kids to bed, and started the same day. That wasn't the life that I imagined when I was growing up. Does anybody relate to this?
Hmm.
Yeah, mostly from my mom, not me personally wanting to feel it, but like that's similar to my mom.
Right?
Yeah, it's relatable.
And so again, Taylor, if I was talking to you, it might have been a little bit different. My
Yeah.
talk would be a little bit different, but that's a big part of it. So then I would say, so once my friend said, "Hey, they're looking for more people," and then I saw what they did, Joe. I saw what the company did. They did our financial needs analysis. And not only did they do the financial needs analysis for free, they showed us how to have our 30-year mortgage paid off in 15 years if we followed their step-by-step program. I was absolutely blown away. And the fact that they didn't charge us a penny for that, I figured everybody I knew needed this information. And then they showed me that I could make as much, if not more money on a part-time basis, working maybe 10 to 15 hours a week versus being gone 50 hours a week from my family. And I got excited. And so I spent years and years working part-time, building a business, right? Developing clients, helping people. And when our youngest went off to college, we decided to open up our own office. And all I know is that there's no other company out there that would have allowed me to work part-time for all those years. And then the day that I made my decision, they would have allowed me to open up my own office and get that type of promotion. And now, Taylor, let me tell you where we're at. Right now, we have a goal, and I definitely see it happening, of 150 licenses on our team in the next 12 months. And we're going to be full owners in this business. Once you get to a certain income level, you can sell your business or pass it down generationally. We want to show other people personally to become regional vice presidents and to make $100,000 a year. And I spent years being mentored by this company, and now I'm excited about mentoring others to do that as well.
That's cool.
So that is right. So let me ask you, okay? Taylor, tell me a little bit about your personal story using this. If you could go through, and let's say you're sitting down, you're across the kitchen table from somebody that you met with this week,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going through this scenario.
Okay, so how I first found Primerica, I was at a club and a guy prospected me. He handed me his business card, told me that I could make $1,500 a month doing life insurance, helping people get debt free, and doing investments. I called him the next day. We sat down and he gave me more details, but I didn't understand it. So he invited me to the opportunity meeting and I started right away. What did I do for work before? I did everything. If I had to list all of the jobs that I had done before Primerica, like my life depended on it, I would not do it. I couldn't do it because I had so many I can't remember. And I had went to school originally for occupational therapy, but had to leave because of family issues. So I finished massage therapy, but couldn't find a job that was going to pay me anything to take care of my family. What I liked about my job at Dillard's and like the delivery place that I was working at was the delivery place had some flexibility. My job at Dillard's, I liked the people I worked with. What I hated was the stuff that I had to do. I was a glorified janitor. And I also trained my manager, who ended up making like $20,000 more than me at Dillard's right before I joined Primerica. That pissed me off. Once you started, what keeps you here? What are you passionate about? So once I started, I got started because I saw the top 15 people in Coach Jimmy's hierarchy at the time. The number 15 had earned like $17,000 that month or something like that in February of 2012, and I'd never seen money like that. And so that's why I got started. What kept me here was the competition and being able to like work as a team. What I'm passionate about now is being able to work as a team and teaching other people what I know. With my experience, it's cool being able to teach brand new people and breathe belief into them. Where I'm going, goals, big vision, something that others can fit into. That's really good. So goal is 100 new licenses by July of 2025. That's going to allow us to be able to promote a really great ownership exchange leg and be on track to earn over $150,000 my first 12 months as an RVP. The big vision is by 2027 to be an owner ourselves and promote at least one other regional vice president during that time. So yeah, that would be my story, and I would tie all that together, but that's the full breakdown, bullet point by bullet point.
So, okay. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you breaking it down bullet point by bullet point. Now, I want you to take a minute
Okay.
and imagine just for a minute that you just asked me some questions. You got to know me a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to look at this and break it down the way that you just did.
Okay.
But you just asked me a little bit about myself. And here's what I told you. I said, you know what? We're living paycheck to paycheck. I'm keeping my career options open. I'm looking maybe for a side hustle, maybe a career change over time. My kids are now, a little bit older. They don't need me as much. And I want something to pour myself into. And so now you know that about me. This is an interview. You're sitting down and you're interviewing me. Now tell me your 2 to 3 minute story that applies to me, utilizing somewhat of this outline without looking at it, and just go.
Okay. And Chris is with you, or is it an interview just by yourself?
It's just an interview, just me.
Okay, perfect. Geli, first off, thanks for sharing all that. Sharing a little bit about yourself. I know being vulnerable like that, especially with kind of a stranger, is big. So I really appreciate you sharing your goals with me. What would you say if I said that?
I don't know. I'd probably just smile and.
Okay, so that's cool.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you. Right? Thank you.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, that's what I'll be waiting for is that interaction.
Okay, good.
And so, before I go into showing you a little bit about the company, I would like to actually share my story with you, and I'm hoping that it would resonate with you because, like yourself, it sounds like you're just looking for a place where you can not really fit in, but you can stand out and be passionate about doing something. Just like how maybe you're passionate about taking care of your household, taking care of the kids, helping them grow with your husband, everything, right?
Yeah. I would like something like that.
See, I want you to know something. Before I actually started in this business, I was working different jobs, to pay the bills, things of that sort, but I hadn't found somewhere where I could really plant my flag and be proud of what I do, but also be proud of what I make. I really wanted to make an impact. That's one of the reasons why I went to school for massage therapy. I wanted to help people, and what I found doing those different jobs is that I was kind of just in this wheel of just doing the job. And so when I saw this opportunity, full transparency, I did it because I needed to make extra money. But the reason why I stayed and made a career change is because I saw the impact that I was able to have on people's financial future. Geli, would you agree that most people think about money every single day?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Would you agree that most people don't know how to manage their money and they just need a little bit of guidance?
100%.
And would you agree that most people don't want to sit down with a salesperson, but want to sit down with somebody that they like, that they trust, and that will have their best interest in mind?
Of course.
That's the type of person that we look for. And when they said that to me, I said, well, I can do that. You know, with your background, Geli, would you say that you really love helping people, pouring into people?
Yes, I do.
For sure. You know, I can see that myself. And so, you know, was able to make a career change now. What I get to do with my vice presidents, okay, who I'm partnered with, they have 27 years of experience. They're just like you, okay? We are looking to help 150 people become licensed financial coaches by July of next year. And what the sole focus is to help our community do better for themselves. And Geli, in turn, every single financial coach is going to be able to do better for them, their family too. And so if you were able to be, I mean, if you were able to be, I mean, even just part-time, 10 hours a week, Geli, and you could be somewhere where you could just use your passion, help people, and also, you know, have some extra income too. I mean, is there anything that would stop you from even exploring that?
Of course not. I'm in. Tell me what to
That's
do.
what
What
we're
do I
going to
get
talk
started,
about.
right?
That's what we're going to talk about.
That's awesome. So thank you. Thank you. That was
Thank you,
good. So
Geli, for
you
letting me do
saw,
that.
and Taylor knows me a little bit, but has the ability to see that, yes, my passion is to help people. It's to do something, put into energy into something that I want to be passionate about. And so the fact that you see that and know that other people are important, right? To me in my life, and you were able to tie into that with your introduction. It doesn't have to be so cut and dry, but utilizing your experience, your background, and connecting is the fun part.
Yeah.
And when you went through the pointers that I was asking initially, and then once you tuned in or keyed into me, those things still came through. Right, Denise? We saw that. Taylor's story still came through in a conversational way that was directed at connecting with me. And that is a freaking professional. And you watching your eyes tune in, watching, I could feel your energy become more positive and connected when you were tying your story into my potential story. Did you feel that, Taylor?
I felt the switch as I started talking about what it could look like for you. Yeah,
So if
that's
we,
really cool.
yes, it's getting out of our own selves sometimes,
That's really
right?
good.
We've got our stories, but we've got our own blocks too. But when we're connected to another human, whether it's virtually or in person, as soon as we're connected to them, we need to kind of set ourselves aside and really decide, okay, there's a big part of me here, but what part of me are they going to see that's going to resonate with them? And that's the part of us, like we've got different versions of ourselves. Joe,
Right.
you've got a version of you that Tamara sees and the rest of us don't see. You've got a version of you that the people that work for you, right? You are their supervisor. You've got a version of you that they probably see, but maybe I don't see. Right? We've got different versions, and it's okay that we have that. It makes us all who we are. But when we step forward, we need to make sure that we're clearly assessing. We don't want to be a complete chameleon. We want to be who we are authentically. But when we connect with somebody, figure out what portion of us can step forward to connect to that person the best. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the story stays the same, but we highlight different versions of it. And so my encouragement for every single person on the call or that's watching this is, and again, I will post this on Telegram, okay? But to make sure that as we're training people, as the junior brokers, right? Or field trainers, as we're training people, we need to make sure that the first thing we're doing is allowing a short introduction from the trainee. And then we go into asking questions to the person so we can know them. And then the next step is having our story already completely laid out and knowing intuitively what portion of that we're going to highlight. So
Okay.
that is all I want to go through
That's
today.
awesome.
I will share this. I will post this. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah.
And let's make sure that everybody on our team understands this completely. And if you think that, you know, especially you've got some new district leaders, I know right now, Joe, with Jalen and Jordan, make sure that as they're doing appointments, they understand this as well.
That's awesome. Very good. Thank you, Geli.
So that is my part of the day, and like I said, I will. And then the highlight, man, you guys, this is ever since I asked Joe to do this and he committed to doing this, I've been super excited. I don't know what he's going to talk about. I kind of know what he's going to talk about, but I don't really know what he's going to talk about. And so, Abby, I'm super glad that you're on today. So here's what I know about Joe. The first conversation that I had with Joe, I imagined in my head, right? I hadn't gotten to meet Joe. I didn't even know what he looked like yet. I just remember calling him and introducing myself to him the very first time.
Very cool.
And in my head seeing the technical portion of him. And I knew he just finished one of his licenses and he said he'd been on a few appointments but really hadn't been on any on his own. And I was like, oh, this guy's going to want all the information before he moves forward, right? That was what I was thinking in my head. And then a few weeks later, we talked and he had said getting in front of 100 people within a year. And I was like, ooh, he's got something going on. This is good. And then we started doing appointments together. And what I saw about Joe is that he truly, when he makes a decision, he's going to give it everything he's got. He is going to commit to himself, to his family, and give it everything he's got. And I saw this winner inside that has been like bubbling up the last year and a half into somebody that I truly see as not just an amazing regional vice president, but a future $1 million earner, SNSD, leading a big old freaking team. And the last, I would say, 2 to 3 months, we've seen that explode even more. So I'm going to introduce the future $1 million earner, Joe Francis.
Let's freaking go. I'm about to flip the table, bro. Yes,
Yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
go.
You and me both. You and me,
Go on.
you and me both. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Gilly, thank you for allowing me to speak with everyone this morning. I want to talk to everybody about really winning in this Primerica game, right? So you know, I want to have a dose of reality this morning, and really talk to the winners, those who are willing to put the work in and win. The first I want to talk about is consistency and persistence. To really win in this game, it's going to take us being consistent, being persistent, day in and day out towards a goal. So this here is from Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and talking about how to develop persistence. 4 steps to develop persistence. The first is a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. How many of us have a burning desire to really win here? Right? That's what it's going to take. 2, a definite plan expressing continuous action. All right? Continuous action. Number 3, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influence. All of us know, all right? All of us know if we've been in this business for any amount of time, there's been some negative people, comments, trying to hold us back, some discouraging influences, right? People not showing up, no shows, never hearing from them again. All right. A mind closed tightly against all those negative influences. And 4, a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. Now, we definitely know we have that, right? Especially if we're showing up to trainings weekly, right? This group here will definitely encourage you and hold you accountable, right? But you got to do your part and show up, right? But those are the 4 steps he laid out to work towards persistence. Now, it's okay if we're not persistent right now. It's okay if we hadn't been persistent in our lives and our careers up until this point, right? Today's a new day. And this is a chance, this is an opportunity to flip that script and start doing the things that we need to do to really win here. So, you know, I'm going to share with you what I've been learning over the last month and what's really helping me begin to grow and to be more persistent and consistent. I'm in a 90-day run here. I plan to have a completely new business at the end of this 90 days run. So let's get into a little bit about you know, what I've been doing to get to that point. First and foremost, just having to understand that I thought it took one level of effort to grow, to be successful, right? And I had to have a little dose of reality for myself. That the effort that I thought that it was going to take just wasn't good enough. Just was nowhere near the effort that's needed to really win here, right? You know, someone told me recently that most Primericans are just lazy, right? And I had to accept that, right? I feel as though I had been lazy, right? If you hear that and you feel I'm talking to you, deal with it, right? Stop being lazy. I've had to look in the man in the mirror and have that conversation with myself, right? To start putting forth that effort. So what I've started out with, what I've learned to do to start out with is creating a massive list, right? Most of the issues within Primerica, not having enough people to call, not getting on enough appointments, not closing enough business. Most of the issues that you run into this business, I've learned is started with not having a big enough list, right? So the goal was to create a list of 1,000 names, right? And the important piece is to have this documented on paper, not on a computer, right? Not on your phone, right? To write out this list of 1,000 names. So if you've got 300-400 people in your phone contacts, put them down on a piece of paper. That's 300-400 people right there. If you've got another 500, 600, 700 people as Facebook friends or you know, on Instagram, write them down on a piece of paper, right? That's 1,000 people right there. Now, you might not have the phone numbers for these people, but on this list, all you're going to write out is the name, their phone number, and if they're qualified or not. Right? We know what the qualifications are, right? Name, phone number, if they're qualified or not. Now, once we have that list, and we have the phone numbers for the people who you don't have phone numbers, the next step is to get the numbers, right? So if they're Facebook friends, that could just be simply sending them a message. You know, hey, you know, we haven't spoken in a while. I was looking for your phone number. Here's my number, right? Because it's important that if we're asking for something, we need to give something back in return, right? So if it's just short and simple, right? I was looking for your phone number. Here's my number. Most people I've sent that message to have responded with the phone number, right? Others have called me, right? Just called me directly, you know, didn't respond with the number, but did call and reach out to me. Now, not everybody's going to respond, and that's okay. As we know, this is a game of numbers, right? Whether it's 8531 or whatever the numbers are, this is a game of numbers, right? So creating that list, you may never get through that whole 1,000 name list, right? But it creates in your mind, right, the availability of people that you can always contact, right? Because you're going to meet with people, they're going to give you referrals, right? So you're going to want to reach out to those referrals, right? And hopefully meet with those people. So you may never get to all these people on this list, but at least in your mind it creates, because if you have a list with 50 people on it, in the back of your mind, somewhere there's that thought that I'm going to run out of people at some point,
Yeah, that makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
But if you have a list with 1,000 people, you're not worried about it. There's always going to be somewhere on that list that you can go through. So it's starting out with that list of 1,000 people. The next step is what's called five to stay alive, right? These are 5 renewable sources of people that you meet each week, right? And we can get these 5 to stay alive, these 5 renewable sources within the community. Every city has a chamber of commerce, right? We've been encouraged to, contact your chamber of commerce. I've contacted mine. It's $300 for a membership to the chamber of commerce. If you don't have that to be a member, there are free events that the chamber of commerce throws, 3 free networking events. You don't have to be a member, which you can go to meet other professionals, to mingle, to network, right, and to build relationships with. Secondly is the BNI, Business Networking International. Every city has a Business Networking International. This is a group that meets on a regular basis with the sole purpose of networking and passing referrals to each other. All right. I've reached out to my local BNI here, had no clue. It's about 2 minutes from my house.
Nice.
I was supposed to go last week. They had to cancel the meeting, so I'll be going to the first meeting. I registered this upcoming Friday to begin that networking. One of the members called me, left me a message that they were canceling, and I saw that he is a local business owner. All right. And then there are also professional networking groups, usually somewhere near a major city, right? You can Google it, professional networking events, to get out and attend those. So the goal is to try to attend one event a week, right? Whether it's
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce, whether it's BNI. I found out, my local BNI meets Friday mornings at 7 a.m. All right. I have to change my schedule a little bit, but you got to do what you got to do if you want to win. Right.
Mhm.
So from that 1,000 name list, to the 5 to stay alive, the local events are ways to get out and continue growing that list. All right. Next is social media. Social media is a powerful tool. As we've seen, some of the big hierarchies around here, the onsets and so forth, they've grown through social media, right? Now, I was the type person who was really private on social media, right? Didn't have a whole lot of friends. I think I might have had 500 friends on social media. Had people reach out. I declined friend requests and so forth. But it's such a powerful tool, right? We have to use the tools at our disposal, right? So I've had to completely change that whole game with social media, right? So I was encouraged to get more friends on social media, right? The goal is 5,000 friends.
Nice.
5,000 friends on social media. So I've went from 500 friends to this morning I checked, it's 2,300, right? This morning. That's in 2
That's
weeks.
awesome.
Went
That's
from
crazy
500
cool.
friends to 2,300 in 2 weeks. Now you say, how do you do that? Every day on social media, it's right there, people you may know. Send friend requests,
Okay.
right? Just hit friend requests. Then it gets to a certain point, right? I started out with if we had 10 or more of the same friends, I sent you a request.
Okay.
Right? That was my criteria. 10 or more, I sent you a friend request. That took me to about 1,500. Then it got to a point where I didn't have any more of those. Well, the goal was 5,000. So now just if you came across as people you may know, I just started friend requesting
That's good.
everybody. Right? Then I looked up and we have 30 mutual friends. But then when I dove deeper, I don't know any of the 30 mutual friends.
Right.
But it doesn't matter at this point, right? The goal is to get to 5,000. And then secondly, I was encouraged to make the page public, right? Which is something that I just wasn't willing to do before. But again, the goal here is to grow, right? And once I made that page public, people started requesting me, right? Which made the list grow even further. And that's led to some conversations. That's led to me adding more people onto that 1,000 name list, right? People contacting you, send you a friend request. Hey, how you doing? I'm well. How are you? That's led to some different conversations with a couple professionals, right? And from there, I talked about networking with them and so forth. So what I've learned through that whole process is just being more open. We're in the people business. We just are. So we've got to talk to more people. We've got to meet more people.
Absolutely.
We've got to interact, right? If we really want to grow and take this thing to the next level, right? If we want to be RVPs, if we want to be full owners, right? We've got to take those steps. Now, as far as those are the avenues to add more people, right? The 1,000 name list, the local communities through Facebook. Now we've actually got to get on appointments, right? If we want to recruit people into the business, if we want to grow our business. So the goal, for me personally, I knew I had to work and put work into the business daily, right? But what does that look like? And that's something I've struggled with for a while, right? From day to day, the amount of work has been different, right? So within this 90-day run, the goal is to book 3 new appointments every day, right? And to get 6 new contacts every day, right? If we're getting 6 new contacts daily, and able to add them to that list, again, we're just not going to run out of people, right? And those 3 appointments booking each day, right, is going to keep us on appointments. Again, the numbers are the numbers. Not all of them are going to show up. Not all of them are going to do business with you, right? But if you're doing 3 a day, booking 3 a day, that's 21 new appointments a week, right? The numbers are the numbers, 8531. If we're on at least 21 appointments a week. Now, this doesn't count training appointments, right? If you're booking, training appointments through your team, that's extra. These are 3 personal appointments
That's good.
that I'm booking every day. Now, I haven't always hit the number each day, right? That's okay, right? Sometimes we're going to come up short, right? But the goal is to be consistent and hit those numbers each day. The 6 new contacts, a new contact is getting a name and a phone number,
Okay.
right? So whether that's a referral, whether it's someone you're meeting out in the public, it's getting a name and a phone number, or adding a new Facebook friend. Right,
Okay.
adding a new Facebook friend would count as one of those 6 new contacts. Now, as far as the Facebook friends, there's 3 types of messages, right? I'm going to send out to them, right? The goal is to send out between 20 and 50 Facebook messages a day.
Nice.
Right?
Okay, Joe.
So the first message is what we call a hunting message, right? That's where we're hunting for new business, right? We're trying to create a qualified conversation to get an appointment with someone, right? So we're sending out that hunting message. which can be just simple as, if there's a little dialogue there, it could be as simple as, hey, this might sound like a weird question, but who handles your life insurance?
Okay.
Right? So that's a hunting message. 85 to 90% of people won't respond, right? But if you're sending out 20, 50 messages a day, right, there's consistently going to be someone responding, right, that we're going to add to the list, and more appointments we're going to get on. The second message is a farming message, right? That's an indirect ask, right? That's asking if they know of someone who may be interested in this opportunity, who may be interested in business, right? That's a farming message. And the third message is a cultivating message, which you're not asking them for anything. You're just trying to build some rapport. All right. Now we're going to go through the whole list and sending out hunting messages
Hey, Joe,
through
real
the
quick,
list.
what does a cultivating message look like?
So a cultivating message, it just depends, right, on what dialogue there has been, right? But a cultivating can start out with, hi, how are you? Hope you're having a great day, right? Just something showing interest. You're not asking them for anything whatsoever. You're just showing some personal interest into them. All right.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we're going through the full list with the hunting message, right? Once we go through that list, then we're going to go through the full list again with the farming message. Once we get through the list, we're going through with the cultivating message, right? And then in about 1 year, we're going to go through the whole process all over again.
Nice.
All right. So with the list, with the Facebook friends and the Facebook messages, I've had a lot of success in being able to consistently produce those 3 messages a day, and my calendar is pretty full. All right. So
real
this
quick,
is sure.
tell me, so you started with the farming message, and what was the message that you asked initially?
Well, starting with the hunting message,
Or the
right?
hunting?
And
That's,
the hunting message, right? And that's hey, this might sound like an odd question, but who handles your life insurance?
Okay.
I had a few people who, we connected on Facebook, sent a friend request, noticed they were business owners, or noticed they were an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So talked about them being an entrepreneur. I am as well. This is what I do.
Okay. Awesome.
Right. So that was my connection in with that one. So that's the hunting message. The farming message is an indirect ask. That one I find to be a little bit easier, right?
The indirect.
The hunting message might be a little intimidating,
Okay.
right? Being direct. The farming message may be a little bit easier because it's indirect acts. You're asking them, if someone they know. But either way, we've got to face those fears, right, and go through the process. All right. Next, just getting on the appointments, right? So keeping it short and sweet, trying to get on appointments, right? Calling people, not through text. We book appointments on the phone, right? And giving calls to people.
Okay.
And that is just simply, when you call someone, it's 10 to 15 seconds
Okay.
of small talk, right? No more. Any more than that starts to get a little weird, especially if you haven't spoken to them in a long time, right? So just 10 to 15 seconds of how you're doing, how life been going, all is well. Then the connector. The connector is, listen, the reason I was calling is, and then directly into why we're calling. So I'd say, hey Taylor, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. What's up, Joe? How are you, man?
Good. Life's going well?
Yeah, it's going good. Making some things work. What about you?
No complaints here. I'm doing great. Family as well. Listen, the reason I was calling was I'm working in financial services now. And excuse me. Whoa, I'm working in financial services.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to show you what I'm doing, right? And
Okay.
maybe able to help you or someone else in the future.
Okay.
So what's better for you, weekdays or weekends?
Probably weekdays right now. Weekends get pretty busy.
All right. And that's it. Short and
Yeah.
sweet,
Okay.
right? And there's no gap in between. Listen, the reason I'm calling is, and what's better for you, weekdays or weekends,
That's good. You
right? We're
just
not
went right
leaving a
into it.
gap, rolling right into it, not leaving a
Okay.
gap in there for them to try to object and to switch it. And that's really, really been working well.
Okay.
Keeping it short and sweet. The main objection that you may get is that they want to speak to their spouse first,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, let me talk to
Um,
Al. Let me talk to. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. I mean, that'd be dope. Let me talk to Allie really quick 'cause I don't know her schedule.
okay, Taylor, listen, I know you want to talk to Allie. I can really appreciate that because I definitely want her to be on their call. But let me just ask you, just generally speaking, what's best for you? Just generally, what's best for you? Weekdays or weekends?
Weekdays are better for me. Weekends are better for her. So we might be able to do something on Sunday, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, so on Sundays, generally, what's a better time for you? Mornings or evenings? Just generally speaking.
Like afternoons, evenings
Afternoons,
we kind
4
of
or
start
5 o'clock,
separating. It has to be a little bit earlier, probably like 3.
3 o'clock on Sunday. So listen,
Okay.
Taylor, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
Okay.
put you and Allie in for 3
Okay.
p.m. on Sunday,
Okay.
okay? For this meeting. Now, as long as you and I and Allie are still alive on Sunday, we'll see you at 3 p.m. Okay?
Okay. Don't.
All right.
All
Now,
right.
if
Don't.
anything changes in
Mhm.
that time frame, please give me a call. All right. Now, don't
That's
text me
good.
because
That's
sometimes I don't get
good.
the text messages. So please give me a call. Let me know if something changes. But if not, we will see each other on 3 p.m. on Sunday, excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that, man.
All right. So
That was
that's
funny.
the script.
That's funny.
That's
That's
the
good.
script.
That's
And what you've
really
been
good.
taught is that generally, I said it 5, 6, 7, 8
Yeah, you
times.
said it
That's
a
on
few
purpose.
times.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on
That's
purpose,
good.
right? To kind of, hammer into them that this is generally speaking, right? And we're not trying to pressure them, all
while
right?
you're while you're pressuring them.
While
That's
we're
good.
pressuring them. Exactly,
Yeah.
That's
exactly,
so good.
right? Now, some people, no matter what you said, they might just say, listen, I'm not going to book an appointment until I speak to my spouse,
Yeah.
right? So in that case, great. I understand, you definitely want to speak to them before you book the appointment. I can really appreciate that. Um, let me ask you a question. Do I have your permission if I don't hear from you in the next 2 days? Do I have your permission to give you a call back?
Damn, that's good. Yeah. You can give me a call back. Yeah, I appreciate the follow for sure.
All right. That's getting their permission. So when we call back, right? Because if not, right, what we learned is not say, they're going to give you a call back, right? Well, say we don't go through that, right? And then you haven't heard from them in 2 days, right? And then you give them a call, right?
Mhm.
And they've forgotten they were supposed to call you, and they see you calling again, and they're like, I forgot to give them a call.
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer it, right? Then another
Mhm.
2, 3 days may go by. And the same scenario is going to happen again, right? And I still forgot,
That's
and they're not
really
going to
good.
answer. And then at that point, you call again, and they may seem like this guy Joe's kind of pushy,
Yeah.
right?
Once
He
you get that
keeps calling me,
permission.
right? Now it's their fault. They didn't call you back, but now all of a sudden you're the pushy guy, right? So try to avoid that. This is the script we're using, and to ask them for their permission to give them a call back.
Okay.
All right. So just keeping to that script has really, really worked well. I think so I've booked this month so far, I believe it's 17 appointments this month so far,
That's
and
awesome.
it only didn't work one time.
Wow.
That is
right?
awesome.
Where one guy he was actually offended that I called him. But it is
You
what it
can't
is.
help people like that.
Can't help it. It is what it is. He still said, I'm still going to pass your information over to some of the people I know. Um, but, as
Was
far
he
as me and
somebody that
him,
you knew or met through Facebook?
this is somebody I knew that I hadn't spoken to in years. And he felt kind of offended. We haven't spoken in years, and this is what you call me with. And he was
Hmm.
offended by it.
Yeah, he's probably a
Now,
relationship type of guy, huh, Geli? He's probably an R.
I
Yeah,
probably now
yeah.
I've
Sorry.
spoken to several people that I hadn't spoken to in years and used that same script,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only one that I've had objection to. So the important part for me is in that situation, chalk it up, throw it away, and keep pushing forward.
That's good.
Yep.
That call
Can't say
didn't
the
even
right thing to
happen.
the wrong person, wrong thing to the right person.
That call never happened. Just chalk it away and just keep moving forward. Um, so that's what I'm using in this 90-day cycle. I've had one close so far this month.
Yep.
Another close scheduled for Monday, but I have 5 or 6 follow-ups coming up with people who are interested in business or joining the team. I really feel like it's a turning point, and the consistency. Um, if you're like me, like I was talking about before with that list, I felt like I ran out of people to contact. I've done phone blitzes before. It felt like,
Mm-hmm.
all right,
Mm-hmm.
now I don't have anybody to contact. So I'm sitting
Yeah.
there for 2, 3 days with no appointments, feeling like
Yeah.
I have no one to contact.
Yeah.
Um, but through the Facebook, through the 1,000 name list, I've found there was still plenty of people for me to contact.
That's a
I
good
had
one,
just
man.
been
That's good.
unwilling to take the
Mm,
steps to reach out to these people.
That's good.
I have
that's
family
deep.
that I still hadn't contacted, right? Um, but this process has shown me that there's plenty of people to talk to. You just have to be willing to take the step to talk to them and to reach out to them.
Good.
So that's what I have. I hope that helps. That's what's been helping me. If you're really serious about getting into the game and succeeding here, I recommend you take at least some of this, if not all of it, to implement into your daily actions, your daily accountability. Um, with that as well, I still have daily accountability with Geli. So every day, every night, um, I send her what I'm doing for the day. Um, someone that you're accountable to definitely helps. Sometimes I've skipped, got busy and skipped, and she's reached out to me and said, "I didn't hear from you." Right?
Good.
Sorry, here it is. Here's my accountability. So that's definitely help as well. So your upline, I recommend initiating that relationship, because when you have to be accountable with someone, when you have to give them your numbers and show them what your activity has been, really helps you step up and continue that on a consistent basis.
Good.
So again, hope that helps. Next coming up to speak with us is our fabulous RVP,
That's right.
future $1 million earner, future full owner.
That's right.
I'd like to welcome her back. She's really been an inspiration and really helped me develop in my personal development. Has
Mm-hmm.
really, really challenged me and helped me with that personal development, which I know is going to help me get to that next step. So please welcome Geli Uku back to the stage.
Let's go. Come on, Coach Geli. I want to be on I want to be on
Amazing,
Joel's team
amazing.
too.
That was a pro training today, my
For
friend. That was
sure.
great stuff. And what I would like for you to prep for probably next Saturday is what you've been doing on social media to create more of a following, right? So I know
Mm,
you're reaching out to people, but what I also have seen you do, because I choose to follow you and share your stuff, right? And that's one of the things that we can do for each other. As we're each getting on there, we're creating new algorithms, right? By
mm-hmm,
posting things daily, by posting only things that are highlighting your positive life. You're not on there crap talking anybody. You're not on there making any divisive statements. You're not on there creating anything that is going to have negative attention, but instead positive attention, and saying things that are going to inspire people. And that's what people want to follow.
Yeah.
Right? That's what people want to follow. That's what a professional looks like. And so very, very proud of you. So yeah, please, if you could start to prep that now, what that looks like and where you're getting your stuff to share each day, and whatever, that I think that would be great.
will do. Thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was amazing. So the last thing that I want to talk about today is this. We all can do what Joe's saying right now. We can start today. There's no reason we can't, right? We don't need to be a part of a group to make that happen. Now, what he's a part of is going to, for some people specifically like him, it's going to hold him at a higher level. It's going to hold him accountable. When you invest money and time into something, you're more apt to follow through, right? And so that's huge. So just know that. In addition to that, what can we all do that are watching this right now? Today's Saturday. We can reach out to 20 people today that are on our list. We can reach out to 20 people tomorrow. We can call, we can text, we can send Facebook messages, whatever that looks like. But reach out to people. And it doesn't all have to be a closing question, but making sure that we're connected. Sometimes we get caught up in life, and when we're caught up in life, connecting with others can seem overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we just shut other people off and move forward with our head down. We're not in a business that we can do that and see success. We're in a business where we have to regularly be doing what Joe just talked about. And so how is that going to impact us between now and the end of the month? Primerica runs month to month. We've got 10 days left. We've got 10 days left till the end of September. Okay? And so what can we do in 10 days? I know there's people that have went and done 5x5 in the last 10 days of the month.
Right.
You could get a promotion to regional leader in the last 10 days of the month. Joe, you could have 4 people pass their license exams in the last 10 days of the month. We've got people right there, right? And so in the next 10 days, what can we do? What can we see? We could reach out to 20 people today. We can reach out to 20 people tomorrow. We can follow up with people, Denise, that we've asked in the past. Hey, can you meet with me? Abby, we can talk to people that we maybe we've talked to in life, but maybe not, they don't know exactly what you're licensed in business. I love asking that question. Who manages your life insurance? For a lot of people, it's nobody. Right? And that might create just a thought, especially if you're, using Primerica Social or doing any of that, talking about Life Insurance Awareness Month. These things are important for us to do. So you're one recruit away from an explosion. Denise, you might have been a few months since you recruited anybody. But imagine you go into maybe a store tomorrow to pick up some groceries. You see somebody there, and you ask them a closing question. Hey, have you ever thought of doing something other than retail? What keeps you here? You must love what you do. I see you here every time I come in. Ask them a question. They might say, yeah, I love it here. Who do you know that is looking for an opportunity that you maybe doesn't love what they do? They might say, my nephew, my brother, the guy standing over there. I don't know. Ask them a closing question. What if you get an IBA there? And then from that IBA, now you have access to a new client, right? Because that person is going to need, so you're going to set them up, right? And then you start field training them, or have me start to field train them. You could literally talk to one person, get them going in business, and from them, their credibility, do 5 by 5 between now and the end of the month. You are one recruit away from an explosion. Imagine if you were the one who recruited Dennis Viant. Imagine if you were the one who recruited you. It's not that deep. It's not that difficult. The most difficult thing about Primerica is the 6 inches between your ears.
100.
All in our mind. Taylor, what do you have to do to lock in your regional leader promotion today? To lock in your regional leader promotion today, which you're already there, but we know you have to have 3 active direct districts on your team and go do 7,500 premium for the month. Now you're an official regional leader. You're already a regional leader, but you got to be there before you can be an RVP. What do you got to do to go be an RVP? You got to get 3 more directs and get them district. You might be working with 1. You might be working with 2. Let's get 3 this month. You're so freaking capable. You've done this before. How many times have you gotten somebody promoted to district leaders? Over and over and over and over and over. The only way you can say I'm not capable of doing it is if you've never done it before. You've done it before. You've locked people in before. Denise, you've seen it. You've done it personally, which means you can hold somebody else's hand to do it. Abby, you've done it personally. You've promoted a district leader before. You've gotten yourself to division leader and field trainer. You just forgot you know how. You just forgot you know how. It's not that difficult. We are one recruit away from an explosion. I love that. You can make a difference today. We can make a difference today. We can make a difference tomorrow. Everybody that's watching right now, no, you're this freaking close. And if you're watching, you're a winner, you're a pro, you're a leader. Okay? So, what do we got to do today? Expand our market, start our list of 1,000. You might think that's overwhelming. We'll start with your list of 100 today.
Mm-hmm.
And then add another 50 tomorrow. And then start going through and highlighting the ones that know you're already in Primerica. And then think, when was the last time you talked to them? And then take another color and highlight the ones that have no idea you're in Primerica. And then reach out and let them know. Right? This is the work. But without this, without the people, without the list, we're not going to feel like we're capable of getting to that second step. So let's do what we got to do. You guys are winners. You guys are leaders. And I think we all know what's happening now.
Absolutely. Let's go. Let's go.
We know we got a freaking contest to focus on. We've got licensing. If you wonder, I don't know how I can get licensed, you've got a licensing specialist. and a direct leader that is wanting to get you there. We've got people on the team right now that are this freaking close, right? We could have 10 licenses pop over this month based on people that are already at the end game. They just got to pass the damn test. So for those of you watching, for those of you plugging in, and for those of you on today, we're proud of you. We love you. We know you're going to see success. This team is a team of growth. If you're like, well, why, if we're growing, why are there only a few people on today?
That's growing.
Because that's a part of it.
Yep.
That's a part of the growth, right? There's one step forward, there's one step back. People are going to doubt themselves. They're going to wonder if this is for me. But just know we're committed. We're here no matter what, and we're not going anywhere. So on that note, have a freaking amazing Saturday. Have a great weekend. Whatever day you're watching it, this is your time. We're proud of you. Thank you, Joe.